Julie Lanford, the cancer dietitian, and I am going to demo a recipe for you today called massaged kale salad. And I'm at my friend Jen's house, and we are actually making a meal tonight that includes these roasted potatoes and salmon, and I have convinced her to try my massaged kale salad. And the reason I like to demo this for people is because they're always surprised that raw kale can taste this good. And the other great thing about this recipe is that you can actually make it the night before, put all the dressing on it, make it prepared, and it's still good the next day. Whereas other salads, you put the dressing on it, and it's all soggy the next day. So I love this because you can prepare it ahead of time, and it's still good. So I'm going to tell you what we've got in it. The recipe, which is on my website, cancerdietitian.com, includes 2 bunches of kale, 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 3 garlic cloves minced, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of pistachios, but today we're going to use almonds because they're cheaper. And if you want, you can add some fresh grated Parmesan cheese, which adds a nice flavor, but we're not going to be doing that today. So it is really quite simple. You take your bunches of kale, and I've chopped some up already, but I want to go ahead and show you how to prepare that. So you take your kale leaves, and you really just pull them off of the rib. When I'm sauteing kale, I'll use the rib with the sauteed kale, but for this salad, I don't want any of the rib in it because it's just too rough. And if you buy the pre-packaged kale that's already cut up, you'll probably want to tear as much off the rib as you can. So for the salad, you just cut it thin. I like to cut it as thin as possible so that when you put the dressing on, there's plenty of surface area for the dressing to get into, because you'll see when we massage the dressing into the kale, it will actually reduce the size and it becomes bright green and really is quite delicious. Okay, so we've got the kale cut up, it's in the bowl, and we're going to make the dressing. So we have our 1/3 cup of olive oil, and then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Now, if you're like me, I really like lemon juice, so I actually put a little bit more. And then we will add our soy sauce. So there's our tablespoon of soy sauce. Let me check on the recipe. So yeah, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and then it calls for our garlic, which I have already minced up. We get a little bit of salt. I think it calls for 1 teaspoon. I'm not really a recipe person. I just put in what I think is good and then add more later if I need to. Pepper. And then I would mix it up. Sometimes I use a jar, like a mason jar, and just shake it all together so it gets all mixed up. Basically, once you get the dressing ready and you have your kale, you simply pour it on, and you just put in what you think looks about the right amount. I think I'm going to leave a little bit out and see how it goes. So you want to make sure your hands are really clean because you're going to actually massage it in. And you just squeeze the dressing into the leaves until it looks like they shrink down a little bit. They're all covered in the dressing. And it helps to break down the kale leaves so that they're not quite so difficult to chew, because kale can be pretty dense. All right, so I'm going to rinse my hands off. And all we need to do now is add our red pepper flakes. So we'll go ahead and put those in there. Our almonds. Again, I like to use pistachios sometimes, but the almonds were cheaper. And then you toss it together, put it on a plate. Now You get to taste it. Very good. So, if you want more tips and recipes, you can visit my website, which is cancerdietitian.com.